So I want to address who we are at ColoradoLawTeam.com and what we do. First of all, I want to make one thing clear. We only represent students. We don't work for colleges. We don't work for schools. We are all about representing kids and young people. There are some lawyers out there who want to go ahead and work both sides. Well, sometimes I'm going to be over here an advocate for kids and college students, and other times I'm going to go ahead and do work for universities or colleges. It doesn't work that way. That is not the way that we do things. I did not get into this line of work to go and represent institutions that I believe are discriminating against kids and not treating kids properly. I did not get into this line of work to represent large institutions. I devoted my life to helping young people. And we only hire people at this firm who are going to do that. Prior to becoming an attorney, I spent 10 years as an educator, and I've always worked with kids who are challenging. 6 years at a juvenile prison. I helped start a school for homeless kids, and then I was an administrator at an inner city school that was one of the poorest in the state of Colorado. We have another attorney over here who was a teacher as well, and then was a public defender for many years. When we hire attorneys, we look for people who are not just here for a paycheck, but are here for a cause. You have got to believe in what we do. We represent students. Now, as you might be able to tell from my demeanor, we believe in aggressive representation. When I first started practicing law, frankly, we took a much different approach, and I was just much nicer. And what I realized is when you just ask nicely all the time of schools that are discriminating against kids, it doesn't do anything. They have to be aware that you're actually going to fight for these kids, that you're going to fight for students. And that means aggressive, hard-nosed representation. We've never had a client come to us and say, you know what, I'm really looking for an attorney who's going to be so nice to the district and be really cooperative and go hand in hand to get something done. Most of the parents we represent are nice people. They've already tried that approach and they've realized that oftentimes it doesn't work. That's why they end up here in the first place. Okay? That's why they go to a law firm like us where they know that opposing counsel may not necessarily like us, but we're effective, and we're effective because we're aggressive. All 6 lawyers at this firm and all 8 support staff at this firm believe in aggressive representation of kids. Now, what areas do we work in? So much of our work is dealing with IEPs and IDEA. Along with that, also our 504 plans. So many of our students are special needs kids. That is what is near and dear to my heart. My wife is a special education teacher, and the reason that I want to represent special education students is because I believe that they are, without a doubt, the most underserved part of our population. Too many people simply do not pay enough attention to the unique needs of special education students, and we don't have enough people out there fighting for special education students. That is the only thing that I really want to do, is fight for students. I have no interest in doing mergers and acquisitions law, or criminal defense, or family law, or corporate law, or construction defense, or any of that other stuff. People want to go out and do that, that's fine. I'm not a dabbler in helping students, and nobody at this firm is a dabbler in helping students. Helping students is what we do. The helping students is always what we will do. We've never represented a school district. We've never represented a college. We will never represent a school district. We will never represent a college. We have been asked before, begged to represent a school district. Because they know how effective we are, we won't do it. Okay? That conversation is a complete non-starter. We also help students with student discipline, and that could start unfortunately, because of our zero tolerance policies that have gotten completely out of control. Sometimes we're talking about kindergartners here. Okay, we've represented students as young as 9 years old who have been arrested. Okay, we represent college students as well who are facing discipline, whether that's because of some kind of transgression that may have occurred at a university, or whether it's some kind of an issue of plagiarism, for example, or cheating or something along those lines. We represent a lot of college students, and that includes a lot of PhD candidates as well, a lot of graduate school candidates as well. We do a lot of work with Title IX, and Title IX is gender discrimination, and we are unique in that we represent students on both sides. Oftentimes, we will represent students who are victims of gender discrimination at a college campus, and then we believe that the college campus has been grossly negligent, irresponsible in the discrimination which it engaged in and the harm that they've allowed to come to certain students. But oftentimes, too, we will represent students who have been accused of Title IX violations, because that process can be problematic as well. We're very fact specific, and we'll only take Title IX cases if we believe in them. We have had students come to us before who have been accused of various Title IX violations. We won't take the case if we don't really believe in it. Okay, Title IX it's special. It's a very challenging field of law. It's very fact specific and can get highly contentious. And we believe that the way that we can be effective is by being quite choosy about the cases that we take. We certainly deal with student disability discrimination in a college context as well, because even though there are no IEPs in a college context, there are still 504 plans. And the Americans with Disabilities Act applies to students in a college atmosphere, in a graduate school atmosphere, in a PhD atmosphere. So we have a lot of clients that we represent in those areas. Sometimes students get injured at school or at a university, and we will represent students like that. I am not a personal injury lawyer, but my partner at this point has handled thousands of personal injury cases, and anytime that we have someone who's injured in a school context, I go over right next door to my business partner, and he deals with all of those types of cases. And we will deal with any kind of issues of improper sexual contact by or against students. Unfortunately, the reality of the world being what it is, it happens from time to time. And finally, also, we do professional license defense. That is a smaller part of our practice, but as part of working with kids, we have to send the message too that we love teachers. I have no choice but to love a teacher because I'm married to one. And how I feel about administrators is very, very different. I have no love for administrators, especially upper level administrators. They're bean counters. Oftentimes they will do things basically to limit exposure or to limit expenditures on students, and they're making a lot of decisions that have nothing to do with what is good for students. So teachers, service providers, totally different. When we're talking about teachers, when we're talking about social workers, when we're talking about school psychologists, in my experience, okay, in 10 years in education, what I've seen that the vast majority of teachers and service providers will go the extra mile to help a kid, especially a special education kid. And sometimes if one of those teachers has an issue with their license, or we have a university professor who has an issue that they're dealing with at the college and they're being disciplined, we will often represent people like that as well. They certainly need that representation. So that is who we are. That is what we do at the Colorado Law Team. Follow us on Twitter at Colorado Law Team and Instagram at Colorado Law Team. Find us on Facebook at Colorado Law Team, or look at our website, coloradolawteam.com, where we are constantly posting new information that hopefully is helpful to students and parents. Thank you.